Welcome back for another edition of Pinellas Courtside Connection, where we bring you inside the Pinellas County high school basketball scene with a look back at recent games and results, check in on the countywide top 10 rankings, and look ahead to some of the key upcoming matchups this week. I'm Kevin Fisher, and once again, I will host tonight's show as we get a chance to talk hoops from the 727. Super excited as later in the show, we will be joined by Lakewood junior Sumayah McIntosh. Sumayah is a captain of the Lakewood Spartans team as she's helped the Spartans race out to a 15-4 record this year as they hold the number one ranking in the county and are poised for a run at the state title and the state Final Four, hopefully appearance in Lakeland. So super excited to get Sumayah on the show later on. Certainly a lot to catch up on, and since we last talked, we took last week off, got a chance to regroup, and it's always an exciting time of year in high school basketball. There's 1 week remaining in the regular season. You start to see the senior night celebrations from around the county. 1,000-point scorers start to surface. You have 1 week remaining before playoffs come. This week's rankings from the FHSA will be used to determine the seeds for districts. So certainly lots on the line. This week, later in the week, there will be the PCAC championship games. The girls' side and the boys' side, both on the varsity and JV levels. We'll be super excited to get tuned into those. This past weekend, the PPSC, the Pinellas Private School Conference, hosted their championship game day over at Canterbury with 5 games lined up with all the private schools meeting head-to-head, and it was Lakeside taking on Calvary in the championship game. Lakeside held off a pesky Calvary team, winning by 10, capturing the PPSC Conference Championship. An amazing run for Lakeside, their first conference championship of its kind, and preventing Calvary from three-peating. It was great atmosphere, beginning to feel that playoff-like atmosphere in front of a packed gym at Calvary, and just some great back-and-forth action on the boys' side. You know, we got a chance to catch up on that game in person. It was my first time being able to see Nijon Harris in action, and wow, the kid's a baller. You want to get out and catch him in action. A great article up this week on Pinellas High School Media Group. Get a little bit of an insight as to who Nijon is. Just a great kid to watch, great team to watch, plays unselfishly, and Lakeside really did a great job scoring the basketball, but really slowing it down the stretch and taking care of the ball and securing that win. So congratulations to Coach Scott Johnson, an earlier guest here on Pinellas Courtside Connection, for capturing the conference championship. Great win for Lakeside as they gear up for the final week of the regular season. You know, on the girls' side, Friday night, we had a chance to catch 2 of the best teams in Pinellas County in action. Yes, I have a biased opinion coaching over at Keswick. I will always argue that Keswick fits in that conversation, but there's no doubt that Lakewood holds that number 1 spot and is the team to beat. You know, hopefully, if you're a Lakewood fan, you showed up early. If you're a Keswick fan, hopefully you showed up late. You know, the Lakewood Spartans raced out in that game to a 30-0 run. It was 23-0 after the first quarter, and just when you think it couldn't get any worse, they extended that run, pushing it to 30-0 before Keswick got on the board. But the Crusaders didn't go away. The final 3 quarters of the game, Crusaders won the scoring head-to-head. If you look at the quarter-by-quarter breakdown, Keswick won the final 3 quarters. Yes, Lakewood got into some foul trouble. They really did a great job controlling the tempo. Really, they got forced into playing more of a half-court game. But, man, they are tough. Position for position, it's going to be tough to find a better team in our area, and I would argue in the 4A, they certainly have a chance to make a run. Alani Lovett finished with 27 points for the Spartans. The Crusaders staged a comeback, cutting it to 4 late in the game, but just couldn't get over that hump. Racing a 30-point deficit is always a challenge. But again, a little bit of foul trouble for Lakewood. And the Crusaders took advantage of that. Ava Graham finishing with 25 points, just eclipsing her average of just over 22 points a game. It was one of those games, though, that really helped, I think, both teams get ready for the postseason. One of those iron sharpens iron, if you will, as both teams really got a good test as they gear up for their postseason action. All that said, some great live basketball to catch in action. Why don't we take a look at the top 10 rankings? First on the girls' side. Not a whole lot of movement as one would expect. We've talked about this throughout the season. Lakewood, undoubtedly the number one team, the team to beat. They had checking at 15-4. They had a loss to Cardinal Mooney, one of the top 10 ranked teams in the state, regardless of classification, and are gearing up for that PCAC championship game, a rematch with Clearwater. Always tough facing a team twice, a second time, but Lakewood, no doubtedly will be ready. The gym will be jumping, and it's number one Lakewood hosting Clearwater. Gibbs checks in at number 2. Their only loss in county has been to Lakewood. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out with district play if they meet head-to-head. Gibbs has a great test coming up this week when they host Seffner Christian, another top team in the state. Never mind in their classification, Seffner making some noise as always. Keswick holds pat at number 3 with a 17-4 record. They have 3 games remaining in the regular season. They play at Largo, at Bogey, and at Bradenton Christian to wrap up the season. Clearwater, as they ramp up for that PCAC championship, that's their next showdown. Some big wins last week, a big win over Tampa Prep, a great talented team. For a big win for Clearwater. The Marauders, 18-2, staying at number 5, an impressive 8-0 in 2024. Ever since the turn of the calendar, the Marauders yet to lose a game, and they have the 3A District 10 tournament on the horizon coming up. Countryside stays at number 6. They lost 2 to Clearwater in 5A last week, had some key injuries that disrupted their flow, but stay hold pat at number 6. You have Palm Harbor at number 7, Calvary at number 8, and it's Seminole, Coach Hobbs and the Warhawks jumping up to number 9, up 1 spot. Winners of 4 of their last 5, including winning 3 straight. And they have games with Manatee and Slam to wrap up the season. Seminole holding strong at 11-11, checking in at number 9, jumping up over St. Pete Catholic. St. Pete Catholic had a 5-game win streak in a stretch over the last couple of weeks. They've dropped 3 of their last 4, but all pretty reputable losses. And St. Pete Catholic holds firm at number 10 to round up the top 10 on the Pinellas County side. Certainly a number of teams knocking on the door on the outside of the top 10 looking in. You have Canterbury, who's an 8-7 team. They've had 7 teams against in-county teams, a 3-4 record. Probably the one thing that's holding them on the outside of the top 10 now as we wait, certainly the county games a little bit more in the Pinellas Courtside Connection top 10. Eastlake's an 8 staying strong at 8-8, playing without its leading scorer Avery Chapman. Caitlin Otto doing a great job for the Eagles, keeping them in check, keeping them in competitive in any given night. Northside Christian stays at 8-5. The last time Northside had a winning season, 7 seasons ago. So Coach Travis and the Mustangs on pace to potentially finish with the first winning season for the Mustangs since the 2016-2017 season. Great job for Coach Travis over there with Northside. And Largo checking in at 6-10. Don't be deceived by the record. Anytime you have one of the top players in the county and Michaela Pascal on your side, there's certainly potential for disruption. And the Packers are always a tough competitor on that side. That's it for the girls' side. Taking a look at the teams on the top 10 and then outside of the top 10 with potential breakthroughs in the coming weeks. We'll see how the final week of regular season and the districts play out. On the boys' side, quite a bit of shuffling. You still have Gibbs holding strong at number 1, certainly the team to beat, winners of 9 straight, including a 21-point win over St. Petersburg. They will host the PCAC championship game on Friday, February 2nd, against a team to be determined. Still trying to figure out who that opponent may be as it comes down to the tiebreakers between Eastlake, Seminole, and Countryside. That will certainly be, regardless of who it is, someone's going to have to bring their A game to knock Gibbs off, certainly on its home court, but certainly will be a great display of high school basketball in our area. Eastlake, like we said, number 2, Seminole, number 3. Seminole has big games coming up with Northeast and Largo this coming week to wrap up the regular season and potentially we'll see another matchup with Gibbs as the year goes, as a week unfolds, and we figure out who's the PCAC championship opponent for Gibbs. A little bit of shuffle amongst the top 5 as Lakeside Christian jumps up a spot to number 4. We know that convincing win over Calvary, a 10-point win, maybe not so much convincing in a good battle. Lakeside really making a run, proving that they can hang with anybody. They have a game remaining with Admiral Farragut on Monday. Certainly a good test going into the postseason. Countryside, winners of 8 of their last 9 games, including 4 straight, makes its top 5 debut this week, jumping up 4 spots. The Cougars, some may have argued were underrated in the previous weeks. Well, here's your chance to prove your top 5 worthiness, if you will. Countryside checking in at number 5 at 16-6. Rounding out the top 10, you have Calvary dropped 2 of their last 3, but again, tough opponents. You dropped to Berkeley, dropped to Lakeside Christian. They hold at number 7. It's St. Pete at number 6. Sorry, I skipped over the Green Devils. St. Pete at number 6, Calvary at number 7, Coach Kaysen and Bogey at number 8, Northeast Vikings at number 9, and Largo at number 10. Certainly some shuffling going on over there when you start to look at the head-to-head matchups. That certainly ultimately is the tiebreaker there. Bogey having beaten Northeast and Northeast having beaten Largo by 1. Certainly a narrow margin deciding that 8, 9, and 10 spots. Time will tell as the postseason comes and the final week of the regular season concludes. There could be a shakeup. There could be teams from the outside looking in. Certainly some contenders outside of the top 10. You have Clearwater, you have CCC that can certainly make some noise in the district tournament. Admiral Farragut, when they're healthy, are a tough beat. You have Danilius Galambowskis and Vuk Lukarovich, a big presence in the middle. Admiral Farragut, if they can get healthy, can certainly make a run. Had a big win last week against Northeast in overtime, a game that Peter Vaughn hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer to give Admiral Farragut a big win. And of course, you can never count Coach Loster and Hollins out. They will always look to disrupt the flow of things, and certainly doing a great job over at Hollins, rebounding from a four-win season last year. And you have Coach Loster and Hollins in the conversation of being a potential top 10 team this year. Quite a turnaround for Hollins, something that certainly many of us that have seen them play and seen Coach in action are not totally surprised by, but great job by Hollins and their team as they round up the regular season. Lots to take in, lots to process. Certainly an exciting time of year. You can hear me talk for quite a bit, and we will, at this time, look to welcome Sumayah McIntosh into the show as we bring her in here. It's always a great opportunity to catch up with other student athletes, hear the first person perspective, hear from them what the season's like, how it's unfolding, and look forward to hearing from Sumayah. Again, Sumayah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There you are. How are you doing? So as we started to say, we're at that time of the show when we have an opportunity to connect with a local student athlete from here in Pinellas County. This week, Pinellas Courtside Connection interview is with a young lady who is a captain of the number 1 ranked team in the county, recently scored her 1,000th career point, and was recently inducted into the National Honor Society last week. You may know her as Maya So Icy 2025 on social media. And all that said, hard to believe she's only a junior. Sumayah, welcome to the show, or welcome Sumayah McIntosh, a junior from Lakewood High School. Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Just as we get a chance to get going into the conversation, tell your fans and tell everyone that's tuning in just a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to everybody.
So my name is Sumayah McIntosh, but I prefer to go by Maya. I'm 17, a junior at Lakewood High School. Outside of basketball, I like to do puzzles, play mystery games, and cook. and my support system is my mom and immediate family.
That's awesome. That support system always so important. I always have those fans cheering loudly. Obviously, we got a chance to see that this Friday at Keswick. An amazing crowd, an amazing atmosphere at that camp. Talk a little bit. How did you get started playing basketball?
When I was younger, traveling with my Mima and my cousins to their basketball games, I just started to love the game. So when I was 4, I started playing at the YMCA, and it wasn't
Hmm.
really much competition. So I since.
That's great. And what is it about basketball that you enjoy so much? Because when we watch you play on the court, you just kind of have that. You always bring that energy and just that excitement, and it's every once in a while that smile will crack from that competitive face, and it's a great sport. But what is it that you enjoy most about basketball? Oh, can you hear me all right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. It's like
That's
chopping
okay.
up.
I'm just asking, what is it that you enjoy so much about basketball?
Um, every time I step on the court, I feel like I'm the best defender out there, and nobody can get past me. So that makes the game fun every time. I enjoy the competitiveness, going out there. Every team always comes with their best, so the competition is always great. It's fun being out there.
It's funny to hear you describe it as fun. I think it gives the opponents a bit of a headache as we play. As get a chance to play against you, but certainly a great chance to watch. You had a chance to start playing basketball as a seventh grader at Admiral Farragut. How much did that help you just to get that added competition at a young age?
So playing at Farragut really just grew my mind like in a more mature way.
Mhm.
I actually started in 6th grade, but
Okay.
um, playing it just having Coach Benuto's on my side. He trusted me in everything that I said because of my experience. So having that and then getting more experience as I went on there, it was just great being there, being able to do different things, having to be.
Absolutely, and always a tough challenge playing against kids that are so much older. We are here joined with Maya McIntosh from Lakewood High School. You're at Lakewood now, the top team in the county. What's it been like being a Spartan and playing for Coach Tunsil? Could you hear me okay?
I first seen Lakewood my 6th grade year. So when I first seen them playing at their MLK tournament,
Hmm.
just watching them play, like the fight in them, I wanted to go right then. That's what I told my mom. When I get in high school, I want to go to Lakewood. So actually going there is just a great opportunity. And playing under Coach Nicole, she's been where I want to be. So it's
Hmm.
awesome. And she always pushes me on the court, off the court, in school, in life. She's just the type of pusher person. So
Yeah,
having her in my back pocket is just great.
yeah, certainly a great coach to learn from, and obviously one of the best in the area. You were named captain this year. Quite an honor as a junior. With that comes added responsibility, though. How has your role with the team changed with that responsibility and from last year to this year? Oh, I think we lost your audio there. Hey, Maya, I think you're somehow went on mute there for that last one. Technology these days. Well, sometimes will happen as we sort through some technical issues here. There is a mute and unmute button, I think it somehow got activated on this one. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Maybe if we reconnect, you can hear you, but I think you still may be on mute on that side. Just as we start to work through a little bit of the technical side of it, you have Sumayah McIntosh, a junior. You see the pictures there, scoring her 1,000th point most recently, inducted in the National Honor Society, a junior at Lakewood High School. Sumayah McIntosh joins us here on Pinellas Courtside Connection. Maya, can you hear me okay? Somehow I think we lost your microphone on it and you lost your audio, but if there is I don't know if there's a silence button on your side or if we just need to do a full reconnect. Let's see if we can get that sorted out. Sometimes that happens. I know I've had it a couple times on my side. Sometimes on the bottom left on that screen there, you get the mic going on mute. We'll try and work that out as we get sorted. But again, it's joined by Sumayah McIntosh, a junior on the Lakewood Spartans team. As we sort through those technical issues, we'll take a jump ahead to the next part of the show. We'll figure out how to get that sorted. But again, before we really dive into that, we had a chance to see Sumayah McIntosh in action this past week, playing head-to-head against her on Friday. And Sumayah is the player who she may not have been the leading scorer for the Spartans that game. They had Alani Lovett checked in with 27 points. Sumayah McIntosh finished with, I want to say, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, a little bit of everything. Certainly a tough competitor always. Maya, are you able to hear us still? Are we back in action?
Hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Sometimes that happens. No worries on that. We just started to say, as a junior being tagged as a captain this year comes with a little bit of added responsibility, and certainly for such a well-established program, certainly not something that's taken lightly. How has that changed your role with the team this year?
It's honestly giving more responsibility. Coach looks to me to make sure that the team is okay. Everybody knows the plays. Practice goes right. Everybody looks the same. Everybody's locked in during the game. So it's just more responsibility and taking care of my teammates, really making sure they trust me on and off the court.
Yeah, this past Friday, I mean, obviously in that game, things don't go exactly the way that you want. I find yourself in a little bit of foul trouble. But as that's happening, you're on the bench. I look down at the bench, and you're the first one standing up, helping your teammates on the court, calling plays, calling out defenses, calling switches. Such an important role, though. I mean, it's kudos to you for staying engaged in that. So many people get discouraged. I think it really speaks to your leadership and great contributions with that Lakewood team. What is it that's so special about this team at Lakewood this year?
I mean, the new pieces that we have this year, it makes us a different type of force. Having somebody who we're about to get somebody else that's over 6 feet, being able to have another shooter, it's just makes us more of a threat as a team.
Yeah, we get a chance to look at a little bit of a highlight reel as we're talking to you. It was just last week you scored your 1,000th career point, and to do so as a junior is such an amazing accomplishment. As you hit that milestone, what kind of went through your mind? What were your thoughts through that process? Was that a goal? Was that a goal that you had for this year?
Yes. Going into high school, I set the goal to hit my 1,000 points as a junior. So being able to have that feeling and accomplish that is just amazing.
And, as you look ahead, I mean, obviously you've had some bumps and bruises along the way. You had a bit of a knee injury that you bounced back from. What did that teach you about yourself and about the game of basketball as you came back so strong, probably even stronger now than you were before?
Definitely. Um, it taught me basically that there's more to life after basketball. I
Mm,
mean, it grew my love for the game a lot. I did not feel great not playing,
yeah.
so having that feeling and being able to play again help my team.
Hmm.
It was just something that I wouldn't want to feel again.
Yeah, and you talk a little bit about the importance of other aspects of life with the game, but also learning to appreciate the game. You just got inducted into the National Honor Society, so congratulations
Thank you.
on that honor. And how important is it being a full, well-rounded student athlete to you?
Having to set aside time to focus on school is very important to me. After basketball stops, I want to be an anesthesiologist. So keeping my grades up, being able to focus in school, is very important. I have to be a student first because the ball's gonna stop bouncing one day.
No, that's so true. And anesthesiology, quite the field to go into. Super excited to be joined tonight on Pinellas Courtside Connection by Maya McIntosh, a junior at Lakewood High School, recently scoring her 1,000th career point as a junior, inducted in the National Honor Society. Quite a couple milestones to achieve already. As you look ahead to the remainder of the season, postseason coming up, how does that change your approach as we come down? You have PCAC championships this week, and then district play coming up. What do the Spartans do in these coming weeks to prepare?
Just put in more work during practice, having to go 100% because games are gonna start getting tougher. You just gotta stay locked in. Like just because season's getting ready to, and it doesn't mean there's days off. You
Yeah,
have to stay in the gym, stay working. So when we do make it to Lakeland, that we're ready for anybody.
absolutely. It'll certainly be the first to be in the stands. Hopefully, we'll be playing right before you in the 2A Final Four, but no doubt be supporting. As you step back and look at your game as a whole, what's an area that you feel like you need to work on, or continue to working on now?
Just being more efficient, scoring, and stepping back to be able to shoot the three.
That's awesome. It's always so important. You try and find areas that to fine tune, and Maya McIntosh certainly making an example of that as she prepares. If you haven't seen Lakewood in action, a 15-4 record. I think those four losses are very deceptive because the teams that you guys play are top level. You guys played Boca Raton High School as a top 10 team in the state earlier in the year. How important is it playing a schedule like you guys are able to do? And I know Coach Nicole pushes you guys to really challenge yourself early and often.
Yes, I feel like the schedule is really good. It gives us some games where we have like the ability to work on things, and other games where that work has to show up. Um, Playing teams like Boca Raton was a team that we needed to show where we put in all the extra work in the gym,
Mhm.
and honestly, being able to play them was just a good opportunity for the team. Having to put in that extra work, making sure like everybody took that extra step that we don't usually take on other teams.
For sure. All of a sudden, the game goes a little bit quicker, and the court seems a little bit smaller as you play those teams. Speaking from experience, having played against you guys this past Friday, um, how do you prepare for a game mentally and physically? Like, do you have any pregame routines, or what's your pregame look like?
Before games, physically, I have to come home and lay down and prepare my body to be able to play an entire. But mentally, I have to pray. I have to listen to my music, talk to my teammates, get in the right headspace to be able to play the game.
Yeah, super important. And trying to, and after a busy day at school, obviously you want to kind of decompress and relax a little bit. Um, you talked about a little bit connecting with your teammates. If we were to ask your teammates to describe you, how do you think they would describe you?
I think they would say I'm fun and a little nagging. Um, at practice and in the games, I always have to be the one to yell, keep everybody on task. So I have to nag them because if I don't, they're just gonna run around. But I'm also fun. I mean, we're kids playing. You have to make sure the game is fun. Like,
As you look at the stat sheets, you look at the box scores. You have a teammate like Alani Lovett who can score 27 in a game. You have a teammate in Savannah Ferguson who can knock down 4 or 5 threes, and there's a consistency with your team where it seems that it's points, rebounds, assists, steals, where you're contributing in every which way for every game. How much pride do you take in that?
I take a lot of pride in it because I have to do it every game. I have to
Mhm.
score. I have to stop the best players on the court. Have to grab the rebounds. Have to share the ball. It's a lot, but it's something that I signed up to do walking into the game. I know what I walk in and who I walk in with.
Yeah, super excited. It really is a great opportunity to get to watch you guys play. We had a chance to catch you at the MLK Classic, where we could just kind of sit back and watch. Looking ahead, you mentioned about going to school to become anesthesiologist. What are your longer term goals as you look ahead for college and possibly playing? Where would you like to play? What would you like to be doing and studying, and where?
Um, I mean, I like to go Power Five, but I could go mid major D1 on a full scholarship. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
No, just like what are your goals longer term as you look ahead to college? I mean, obviously the high school career is so important, but as you say, you start to lay that groundwork to get your education and beyond. Where would you like to do that at, and what does that look like for you?
Okay. I want to go to LSU and play for college on a full ride, but any mid major D1 school would be fine with me. As long as I can be able to play and get playing time and be able to focus on school, so I can pursue anesthesia when basketball is done.
Yeah, such a great opportunity. We're here joining the Pinellas Courtside Connection with Maya McIntosh from Lakewood High School. Talking a little bit about the season so far, scoring 1,000 points, getting into the National Honor Society with college potentially on the horizon as a junior. Still lots of basketball to be played at Lakewood. Just a couple final questions as we go through this, a little bit more lighthearted and less of a thought process, but kind of get to know you a little bit better. What's on your playlist currently?
um, for every game, I have to listen to and J Cole.
Okay. Uh, and then what sneakers are you wearing currently?
Right now, I'm wearing LeBron 20s, but I've been through a lot of shoes this season.
A lot of shoes this year.
Yeah,
Do you,
this year.
do you have a favorite pair?
Um, Probably not. I could walk out. I could walk out in any of the shoes in my locker.
Nice. Um, and not knowing how much you watch basketball outside of playing, but do you have a favorite WNBA or college player that you really you look up to?
Although she's not playing in the WNBA, she's overseas. Alexis Morris is somebody I really look up to from watching her play at LSU. She really caught my eye, and I love watching her play. But Asia Wilson would be my favorite in the WNBA. Just the way she steps onto the court with the dog
Mhm.
energy. She goes out knowing that nobody can stop her, and that's the type of energy I aspire to have.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think anybody that watched that Final Four or the whole tournament last year with watching Alexis Morris play, not totally surprised that you would say that because your game kind of mirrors hers a little bit and doing a little bit of everything. I'd argue that she was probably the MVP of that tournament run for LSU, just doing a little
Yeah.
bit of everything, game after game after game. Um, as we start to wrap up the interview here, you have a lot of basketball ahead of you. We certainly appreciate you taking the time out to join us on Pinellas Courtside Connection, get a little bit of a chance to get to know Maya McIntosh, the person, not just the player. I had a great article up on Pinellas High School Media Group. I'd encourage everybody to go check that out. You talked about a little bit of pregame prayer, pregame music. Such an important element of the game to just kind of get yourself in the right mindset. And just as you go through that, how important is that though for you as you get ready for games?
Praying is very important to me before a game. I need it's something I really need to clear my head. I stay in my head a lot, so having to pray and clear my head, and having that moment with God is something very important to me.
That's awesome, and it's like it's certainly echo that, certainly an emphasis that we place with our team, and in a great way to prepare yourself for a game. You know, it's you want to, like you said, clear your mind, clear your headspace, but be ready when that ball goes up to get after it a little bit. So PCAC championships ahead. Always tough playing a team a second time as you get ready for Clearwater, but you know, I think Lakewood's been pretty dominant in the PCAC championships. How important is that game coming up this week?
It's very important to, with the stamp of saying that we are number one.
Yeah, for sure. And I think anybody that, if you haven't been to a game at Lakewood, make your way down to the gym, go out and support the Spartans, get there and support Clearwater, whatever it may be. I think that creating the atmosphere I think we saw a little bit of it on Friday at Keswick. You know, you had the fans going, "Let's go Keswick, let's go Lakewood," and it got louder and louder, and it was pretty cool. It was like a playoff like atmosphere. We know Lakewood always travels pretty deep when they come into the gym, so it's a great atmosphere. We certainly wish you the best of luck, and I can truly wholeheartedly say that, knowing that we don't have to play you head to head anymore. But no, a great opportunity just to catch up with Maya McIntosh from Lakewood High School. Thank you for taking time out for your night. I know it's a school night, and it's a final week of regular season, so lots of basketball ahead. Thank you for joining us, Maya.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We look forward to following you the rest of the season. Again, that's Maya McIntosh from Lakewood High School, a junior, 1,000-point scorer, college aspirations, not just as a basketball player, but certainly as a student athlete, as she pursues and hunts down that right fit and right scholarship opportunity. Great competitor, great basketball player, and at the number one team in the county. Lakewood Spartans, they play Clearwater High School in the PCAC championship this week at Lakewood. A great chance to catch some local high school basketball as the regular season winds down. Thank you for Maya McIntosh joining the show. We look forward to following her as the season goes on. At this time, why don't we take a look at the leading scorers in the county? You know, there's been some shakeup on the girls' side, some flip-flopping up top. You know, it's always tricky to track these down, so I certainly appreciate the coaches taking the time to enter the leading scorers. Again, this is through these past games on January 27th. You have Ava Graham sitting at top of the leaderboard there, averaging 21.9 points per game. Ava is the all-time leading scorer at Keswick and is 28 points away from setting the single season scoring record for the Crusaders, a record that has stood since 1991. So certainly a great opportunity for Ava to get after a little bit and set her name in the record books. She's closely trailed, though, by Michaela Pascal, averaging 20.4 points per game for Largo, on pace to become what I believe is the Packers' first 1,000-point scorer. And she's close to that milestone as a junior. Certainly lots of basketball left ahead in her career, but a milestone that she is certainly chasing this year with very good. She's very much in striking distance for that. So Michaela Pascal, second leading scorer in the county, currently at 20.4 points per game. And Alani Lovett, another one averaging over 20 points per game. An amazing effort this past Friday, scoring 27 points. It only begins to explain her contributions in that game. Such a big player for the Spartans. Allie Wright checks in at 18.7 points per game. Olivia Williams not far behind, just averaging just over 18 points for Clearwater. It's that backcourt duo of Olivia Williams and Pink Sturdivant, averaging 18.1 and 17.1 points per game for Clearwater. They will look to team up and try and knock off the Spartans in the PCAC championship game this week. Always a dynamic duo in the backcourt for Clearwater. Haley Downs from Dunedin at 16.9 points per game. And it's Zanasia Aluzefi from Canterbury. Zanasia is a player who just constantly continues to get better, leading that Canterbury team to an 8-7 record. Looks like they will be the number 2 team in the district as they square up for the postseason action. They are hosting the 2A District 10 championship at Canterbury. Certainly a matchup that will be interesting to follow in the coming weeks. On the boys' side, again, a little bit of a shakeup on the leading scorers. We've had Nijon Harris. We've heard a lot about him, the 8th grade sensation over at Lakeside Christian, really making an immediate impact for the Lions. He's at 23.4 points per game, but you have Ace Taylor from Calvary averaging 25.2 points per game, leading the county in scoring. Unfortunately, Ace has had what could very well be the performance of the year against Seffner Christian, a game that Calvary won 78-74. Ace finished with 46 points. I don't think I can truly appreciate how difficult that is to score 46 points in a game, 46 points in a 4-point close game when everybody knows that you're the walking bucket that night is certainly a challenge and an amazing accomplishment for Ace. Unfortunately, an injury has sidelined Ace currently, and we certainly look forward to getting him back on the court, seeing him hopefully back in action for Calvary. If not, be interested to see where Ace takes his basketball career as a great player over at Calvary Christian. Will Murphy checking in at 23.7 points per game for Indian Rocks. Like you said, Nijon Harris, 23.4 points, and Nicholas Bearden over from Shorecrest, averaging nearly 23 points a game for the Chargers. Nicholas does a great job in the backcourt, running their offense, handling the ball, and doing a little bit of everything for the Chargers and really thinking through the game. My guy, Danilius Galambowskis from Admiral Farragut at 21.3 points per game. Such a dangerous threat from outside, able to knock down the three, but I believe his 6'5", 6'6" frame for Admiral Farragut. You put him alongside Vuk Leverich for Admiral Farragut, and certainly a dynamic duo that can cause some problems. Peasy, Jeremiah Porter for Tarpon Springs, averaging just over 20 points a game, and Nick Berry averaging 20.1 points per game as well for St. Pete Catholic. Nick Berry, a walking double-double for the Barons this year. And it's Corey Perlin checking in at 19.2 points for Countryside. Countryside making their top 5 debut this week in the Pinellas Courtside Connection top 10. Quite a lineup there, an amazing amount of basketball talent in that list. Certainly a list that will evolve as more scores come through, and we take a look at the leaderboard and the leading scorers across the county as the season unwinds. We've talked about it a little bit. Certainly so many games on tap. Looking ahead, the girls' games to watch. Gotta, as we say, get your popcorn ready. It's you have Keswick at Largo on Monday night, January 29th. Keswick and Largo facing off. You have the 2 leading scorers going head-to-head, Ava Graham and Michaela Pascal squaring off two 20-plus point per game scores in what could be a great matchup. And you have, if you're not able to make it over to Largo, Seffner Christian is traveling over to Gibbs. Gibbs getting a big test before the postseason, postseason run, and a great test with Seffner Christian, a great team led by Coach Joe Cooper. Some great players over for the Crusaders at Seffner Christian, a great test for Gibbs coming down the stretch. Tuesday, looking ahead on the girls' side, we'll stay there. You have Northside Christian at St. Pete Catholic, 2 teams battling in the same district, 3A District 10, meeting in the final week of the regular season as they gear up for that postseason district tournament. Again, Coach Travis Donaldson with leading Northside to an 8-5 record, potentially on pace to be the first winning season in a number of years for the Mustangs. Great job with Coach Travis over there at Northside, and also Coach Nick over at St. Pete Catholic done a great job getting his team ready, finding ways to win games, minus their leading scorer, Liv Geritano, who's been out for the year. We had a chance to get to see Liv taking warm-ups, going through the layup lines, having gone through knee surgery. Is great to see her even just getting a little bit of warm-up action. We have, and then you look ahead, the PCAC championship game Thursday, February 1st, and that's Clearwater at Lakewood, a game that you won't want to miss. You probably want to get there early to get a good seat and catch that game in action. Over on the boys' side, looking ahead this week, you got Seminole at Northeast on Monday, a great matchup. Vikings always a tough competitor, especially at home, as they host the Warhawks. St. Pete Catholic playing over at Osceola on Tuesday, January 30th. Wednesday, a big day for high school basketball in the area, as you have Largo at Seminole and Lakewood at Bogey. Bogey looks to get back on track after going through a little bit of a skid this most recently. And then the PCAC championship game on Friday, I believe it's Friday, February 2nd, will be at Gibbs against a team to be named later, a team that will be either Eastlake, Seminole, or Countryside. And I believe that that tiebreaker comes down to the FHSAA rankings this week. So we will be hitting refresh early and often, giving the FHSAA some added page views this week as we look forward to those rankings coming out, not only for district seeding, but also for the PCAC championship wind down. So much to take in. A great opportunity tonight to catch up with Maya McIntosh from Lakewood, taking a look at our top 10 rankings around the county. So many games coming up. We're getting to a point where it's win or go home. You know, you have the playoff action for some in the districts. It is literally win or go home. Some of the districts vying for a district championship. Such a great opportunity to potentially lift a trophy at the end of the tournament. And then you have each of those teams qualifying for an automatic bid into regionals, into the state series competition. Each of those district champions, advance to the regionals, and then the 4 highest ranked teams will advance and join them. So the old version of the district tournament used to be the winner and the runner-up advances. Now it's the district champion and the 4 highest ranked teams that will advance to the regionals. So these rankings will certainly give a great indication of where those games may be and who will find themselves in that mix as the playoff season and the race to the playoffs heats up. Great opportunity. Get out and support your local basketball teams. I will add this just be out of necessity. You know, I think as we cheer on our teams and we encourage our teams, there is a tremendous shortage of referees in our area. Take it easy on the stripes. I think they hear it enough from enough people from the stands, and you know, I think it's all in good fun when you can get on them a little bit. But I think it's so important that we respect their ability and the respect that they're out there calling those games. Without those referees, these games can't happen. So there is certainly a shortage of referees in the area. Familiarize yourself with the rule book. Great opportunity to learn, but take it easy on the stripes. Certainly great having them out there, being able to call games as the season winds down. But again, get out there, support local high school basketball. Be sure to follow us on social media. We'll be posting the top 10 rankings and the scoring leaders and any other updates as the week unfolds. And we look forward to joining you next week here on Pinellas Courtside Connection. As always, thank you to Totem Pole Nation for hosting the podcast. Be sure to check out the Pinellas High School Media Group website for some great interviews with Nijon Harris, Maya McIntosh, and some others coming down the way from the basketball side, but also your go-to place for all things Pinellas County sports. Thank you for joining us tonight on Pinellas Courtside Connection. We'll see you on the courts.
All right, they're all good. I'll be dropping this tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right, no problem. Have a good night.
All right, you bet.